I want to bring up a specific player, and it's not meant to be a dig or anything, but I'm just more curious about the process of player development, understanding human element, some of the stuff that Chris was just talking about. So JD Martinez, he's kind of a guy that was kind of a swing revolution guy. When you look at his trajectory, and he went to winter ball, made adjustments, came back in the spring, didn't hit very well that spring. How is the human element part of the algorithm? How is that? How is it weighted? Can you give us an inside glimpse into like decisions that were made or thought processes, and how is that involved? Because it's something that, as Chris was just alluding to, with the younger players of the game, this whole showcase generation, I feel like it's missing. It's underdeveloped. It's incredibly valuable, but there's this JD Martinez is a guy that's always going to work and always going to pursue his best. So I'm curious what your kind of insight is on him.
Like you said, JD Martinez went down to Venezuela, reworked his swing, had some success there, came to spring training that year, and was awful. And there were roster decisions to be made, and there was a crunch, and and the 40 man had to get configured somehow. His last day with the Astros, myself and others went to go see him on a backfield game. And it was one of those, I'm sure Chris has had some of these, where the big leaguers with the minor leaguers, so he leads off every inning. So he's going to get 9 at bats. He went 0 for 9 with 6 or 7 whiffs. And the decisions were made either that day or the next day. And nobody, including myself, guilty, stood up for him. They're all fine with letting him go, and obviously it was a huge mistake because he really was onto something, and obviously it ended up working. He became a massively dangerous bat, and you miss on dudes, and you try to I can talk for much longer and in far more detail about things I got wrong than things I got right, because I think that's what you focus on, and that's where you learn things. And that was a huge mistake, and the human factor. I agree with you on the showcase circuit and things like that. But, once you think about the actual draft, now you do sit down with these kids and you talk to them. And more importantly, like every team has, either a team psychologist or someone with a weirder title, like a mental skills expert and things like that. And you are looking at that makeup aspect, as long as you can agree what makeup really is. Which can be a real struggle for a lot of teams. I care about his love of baseball, his work ethic, and his openness to coaching and changing. That's what I care about. That's the makeup I look for. Is I can think of people who I would never want to see away from a ballpark in any capacity, who I would still say have great makeup, because they show up, they love baseball, they love playing, they want to get better, they're obsessed with it. I can. A great example is Justin Verlander, and the Astros acquired Justin Verlander in 2017. Justin Verlander had won multiple Cy Youngs, won an MVP. Like, Justin Verlander could have walked in there and said, "Hey, fuck you, nerds," and it would have been fine, because he's Justin Verlander. It would have been totally fine, right? He walked in and said, "What do you got? Sean, I want to see everything you have for me. I want to see all the data. I want to see everything you got. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of every pitch. Show me everything you have." That's makeup. That's a guy who's just like driven to constantly get better, even though he's already Justin Verlander.
I feel like when you get around guys in the clubhouse, at least from the player side, you can figure out right away who the dudes are that are going to come with it every day, in terms of like how they're going to work, what they're going to listen to, whether they're going to be receptive to new information. And like the other 70% of dudes who are in the big leagues that don't even really like baseball that much, that are just really good at it. And I was shocked when I got there. I was like, is this real life? Like, is this guy's like got 7 years in the show and he doesn't even like playing. So I think from the standpoint of building a winning team, you definitely need those guys. You need those makeup guys that are obsessed with the game, because if you don't, then the analytics don't matter, in my opinion. Because Alex Anthopoulos said it to me after. I asked him, I said, what made you change going into 2015? Like, what made you, because he talked about character guys all through spring training. He goes, Chris, for the last 4 years, we had just built teams based on what the analytics said, and nobody liked each other. I walked through the clubhouse, nobody would talk to each other. and then we would always lose. And I'm watching teams celebrate on our field. And then all of a sudden we brought in a bunch of guys that like were baseball lifers that love the game. And before you know it, and as long as you have enough of them, it can offset the ones that aren't, right? Like as long as you have more of the guys that love the game and want to learn, want to grow, you can offset the guys that don't, right? Like I can name 7 guys on my team in 15 that like, if I had to start a team, I wouldn't use them, but I'd take them as like complementary pieces because that's all they need to be. So I think it's a difficult paradigm. So I give you a pass on JD, and I like what you said about makeup.
It's a great story on JD with the 9 at bat, poor showing, and it kind of speaks to the like you got to perform in front of the right people at the right times.